In this video, I want to show you some tips of when layering vinyl. So I took a couple of logos and created SVG files with them and did the best I could to create them in a way that would make it easy to layer vinyl, for example, in this video. And so I'm going to move this one over here to the right, get it out of the way a little bit, and we'll examine both logos individually because there are some differences that I want to show. So with the Pittsburgh Steelers logo, what you want to do when you create SVG files and when you layer vinyl is to try to layer from what I call the outside in and from the bottom up. So if I ungroup this SVG file, I'll move over the parts to the side so that you can see them separately, and you'll see that they are layered in such a way they are from bottom to top. So the bottom piece is larger, and then the next piece gets a little smaller, and then each piece goes on top of that and progressively goes towards the center as I go up to allow for proper borders and, I guess, stacking. That way there's no edges. So I see a lot of people trying to layer SVG files, and what they'll do is they'll have something like this, and the lower level will actually have a hole cut out of the center, and they're trying to layer it and center it manually. Because vinyl stretches and it can reposition as you're applying it, it's very difficult to line up edges when you're doing something like that. So that's why I recommend layering solid pieces over other solid pieces if possible. Now we'll look at the other logo, the Washington Redskins logo I have here, and it's a little bit more difficult and had some challenges when creating it. And you really have to think through how you're going to create and layer vinyl if you're the one creating the images, or if you have, even if you have images that you downloaded or someone else has provided for you. A lot of times they're not made in the best way possible for layering. So with this one, it looks like we have white, we have some black borders here, white over top of the black, and the rings and the face color and everything. So I'm going to ungroup this and show you the challenges that I faced a little bit with this one. So we'll move this ring out, and if you notice here, I'll zoom in for you. This was one of the challenges I faced, was how to handle this edge along the feather. And I decided that the best thing I can do is probably fit it in there as best I can and match it up when I apply the vinyl. And I'm going to switch over to the video here in a moment and show you how I actually apply this and position the vinyl. And so then we have the face. Move these pieces out here separately. And the face, as you see, it's applied over top of a solid black layer. And then the tips of the feathers. This is where I was talking about having to line up edges. You want to minimize this. I didn't want to have to do this, but it is probably going to be the easiest way to handle it in this one. Plus, these are particularly smaller pieces, so it's probably not going to look too bad. But I really didn't want to do that if I didn't have to. I probably could have worked on it some more and handled it a different way, but it would have taken a lot of time to make it look right. So we're going to move that out of the way. And what I did, as you will see, is the white parts of the feathers and the facial features and everything are actually cutouts, so they will just show through the white. And so we'll stack that up and put all those pieces back where they go. And now I'm going to switch over to the video and show you how I actually apply this particular logo and layer the vinyl and line everything up.
So now I have my various pieces that I've cut out of vinyl, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the Contact brand contact paper to apply this. This is what I generally use for myself. I have another video on my channel for different transfer tapes that I use, but when I apply things myself, this generally works pretty well with 651 vinyl. Did not like the magic cover from Dollar Tree. It doesn't work as well as contact paper, I don't think. And so we want to think through how we're going to apply this. So what I did was my base layer, as you see, I've scotch taped down to my desk. Vinyl static electricity will cause it to lift up and curl, and you'll mess up a lot if you don't fasten that down to give it a surface to work on. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut, this could be applied all together, but rather than do that and risk it just being off a little bit or something, I'm just going to cut it apart and apply these two pieces separately. And initially my first reaction would be to put the circle on first. However, with the positioning of these feathers, I had to think through this a little bit because I could accidentally have the circle rotated too far one way or the other. So we're going to actually apply the feathers first and then the circle, and then we'll do the Indian's face and the head for the backdrop there. So one of the secrets that I use is I use a piece of contact paper or transfer tape that is larger than my design. And if I can get this separated here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. And so when it's larger than my design, it enables me to see where I'm positioning things well so my hands aren't in the way. So we'll go ahead and put that on the transfer tape. Another key is to use a good squeegee. This one is a kind of a softer plastic, so it's pretty pliable, and it works real well. Without the squeegee, vinyl is a lot harder to apply. So we'll take that, and I'm pretty good at actually just eyeballing these things to see where they should go. And I've never really had to use registration marks except for on something that was very large. So I'll put that into place and press it down. And next we'll do the circle. There is a video on my channel where I did a large retail store window where I did use registration marks. You can watch that and get an idea how those work. And so we want to put this in here just right. Get it positioned into place. And when you're removing the transfer tape, it's a good idea to fold it back hard and roll it off like that. That way you don't lift any of the vinyl and get any air bubbles underneath of it. And so we'll take this. And we'll put the Indian's head in here. And the way I do this to avoid air bubbles is I get it started and then I'll go across it like that while holding the edge up and gradually press it down. And put this one into place. And the last pieces are the little tips of the feathers, and I'm going to do these one at a time even though they're already lined up together, just in case that moved and shifted a little bit. So put that one on, then I'll position the other one separately and apply it. Again, those edges of fitting that inside of that cutout is what you want to minimize. I really don't like to do that any more than I have to because it's very difficult to get them in there. So we'll remove the tape and peel this up. And here is our finished layered product. As you can see, no air bubbles. Laid in there pretty tight around these edges, but like I said, I don't really like to do that, and but everything else lined up pretty well. And so again, I didn't use any registration marks. I don't use those. I'm pretty good at eyeballing things and doing them pretty well, and other people, you might want to study how to do those registration marks for lining things up, but otherwise hopefully that's been helpful to you, and try to share some tips with you on how to layer vinyl properly.
If my video has been helpful to you, please subscribe to my channel. And after you subscribe, be sure to click the little gear and check this box so that you'll receive an email notification when I upload a new video. You can also help support my channel by making a small donation on patreon.com/TroyYoung.